Hello, everyone. I'm Gorilla Monsoon.
And I'm your host, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh, why don't you be serious? You're not the host, Brain.
Well, I should be.
Chris DiFrancesco is the host.
Chris DiFrancesco?
Yes, that's correct. I didn't stutter.
Didn't he get whacked in an episode of The Sopranos?
Oh, give me a break. He hosts a podcast, Brain.
Who the hell doesn't?
Well, his is about wrestling.
Who the hell's isn't?
He talks about old wrestling.
Wow! What a novel idea.
Oh, give me a break.
Next, you're going to tell me he's got a wrestling-themed name for the show?
Well,
Come on, Monsoon, spit it out.
it's the Hot Tag Wrestling Podcast,
So what?
and it's starting now.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Hot Tag Wrestling Show. I am your host, Chris DiFrancesco, alongside me. Well, not alongside, but in another zip code. But he's with me tonight. That is George Rogers. George, what's going on, man? How are you?
What isn't going on, Chris?
That's a good point.
Seth
SmackDown
Rollins
ratings.
night.
That's not going on.
Seth Rollins to 2025. That's not.
Let's see. There's a lot of things. I mean, look, I think the best thing.
Old Seth Brittlebone Rollins is back at it.
I think it's safe to say that the best thing that we heard in the last week of pro wrestling was TNA Bound for Glory, 7,700 people setting a attendance record.
It's big. That's big for them. I saw some people scoffing at it. You know, on both sides, the WWE stands and the AEW stands. Like, oh, it's nothing. It's like it's big for them. Let them get a fucking win.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm sorry that TNA isn't on the same level as Collision, but it's just let them enjoy a win. And you know what though? It also got a hell of a lot of traction because it had for the final time ever the Hardys and the Dudleys, and
yep.
Tore the house down.
Very much.
TNA's been getting a lot of traction. TNA has shown nothing but growth over the last year.
Yeah, I totally I'm with you on that one.
They're the only company showing growth.
I would say I think you're spot on.
Yeah, I mean we know both companies are losing fans.
Yep,
TNA is gaining them.
I mean, SmackDown almost had under 1 million viewers, dude, last week.
Because
under 1 million?
Honestly, who wants to watch it?
I agree, man. I agree. Look, everyone, you know, WWE is in the crapper when George Rogers is just shredding it all the time.
I mentioned this to Dean earlier in text. When you announce the matches of a pay-per-view ahead of time, why do I need to watch the weekly shows? I already know what's going to happen. I already know what matches are going to happen. Why do I need to watch the weekly builds?
And it harkens back to the days of Monday Nitro. It's like, and the big thing, why didn't a lot of people buy their pay-per-views? Why? Because you knew automatically you're going to see the same stuff on Monday Nitro. Yeah. I mean, exactly the same. And then I'll tell you what, in the Ruthless Aggression era, George, you and I talked about this a long time ago. Mm-hmm. That was almost a formula. You almost didn't have to buy the pay-per-views because on Raw, you're going to see the rematches.
Yeah.
So I thought I remember going back and, when, the WWE gave a shit about their fans and allowed me to watch any Raw that I wanted if I paid for it. Because, why would I want to pay for a video library that's just not there, right? Why do you want,
you wouldn't go to the store and buy a dozen donuts with only 4 of them in the box.
Correct. Yeah, it's just garbage. But I remember going back because what I used to be able to do, and I did it all the time, was at nighttime when my wife would go to sleep, and I, of course, historically have insomnia, so I really don't sleep all that well. When she's going to sleep, I'll put on a Ruthless Aggression era Raw. And, I usually would fast forward to like a Triple H segment, or most of the time it would be to watch a Shawn Michaels match or a segment. And I would notice that so many times I'd be like, oh, good. Look, Shawn's wrestling the same guy he wrestled the night before on pay-per-view. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, WWE's doing almost the same thing now. Why am I going to pay extra money for a service if I just have to watch Raw and I'm going to see the same stuff that they just did 2 days ago?
I remember I went to I went to a house show in Trenton, 2002.
Nice.
This was the legitimate, like, actual return of Triple H, because this was the day before he returned on Raw.
Wow, that's amazing.
He actually showed up at that house show, came out, spit the water, did the whole shtick, and like told people to turn into Raw like the next night. You know, something for the fans, untelevised. It was a dark match, but that's where I also got to see like Brock Lesnar there for the first time, a couple other like OVW guys who didn't really make it up to the main roster. But I remember one thing is that I think Scotty 2 Hotty was in a tag match against somebody, and I can't remember if he was teamed with Rikishi or if he was with Albert at the time. I think he was with Albert at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And like I saw the exact same tag match the next night on Raw. Mm-hmm. Including the exact same spot where Scotty would be animated as he's in the corner, waiting for the hot tag. He's getting the crowd going.
Yeah.
And Scotty would always do that thing where he would bounce on the bottom rope and just kind of he's holding on the top rope to get traction. Mm-hmm. At the house show, he slipped on the bottom rope and just kind of. He didn't fall, but he like stumbled a little bit, and like everyone kind of like laughed, and he'd like waved it off. But then he did the exact same thing on Raw. I'm like, come on! It's like so. I was like, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, you're telling me that was a planned spot the whole time, and I thought it was like a botch. It's like like great. I mean, I laughed at it again too. I'm like, man, it's mm-hmm. funny. I saw the exact same thing, but yeah, I mean, that's different. That was a dark show. That wasn't televised.
Right.
But when you're seeing the same shit on Raw as you're seeing on a pay-per-view, it kind of takes you away from wanting to watch the show. But there was still a reason to watch the show because you could still see builds forming to feuds that would lead to the next pay-per-view. I mean, they would just do that same match again like the next night, mm-hmm. but you had to build to it.
Right.
And we don't have that now. It's just... hey, we're going to throw this up on Twitter. John Cena versus AJ Styles.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. So that's just a thing. Like, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to have AJ come out on Raw and, get a little bit of FaceTime.
Get some heat.
Exactly. Like maybe get the crowd energized. No, we got like a little thing on SmackDown or on Raw. Who the fuck cares?
Hey, look, that ended up being the best match of the decade.
Where he stands up on the announce table and he talks about he's going to face John Cena. And then he says, like, these are the words. He goes, John Cena versus AJ Styles doesn't need a story. It's like it's almost like they're literally telling us to our face, fuck you. This shit doesn't matter. Just watch the matches. Why do you care about a story? I care about a story because that's how you get invested. Mm-hmm. Into the product, into these people. It's the same thing, with all sports. You're invested. If they told you in April who's going to be in the World Series in October, would you even want to watch the rest of the season?
No, absolutely not.
Like if they told you in April that the NLCS was going to be the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers, would you even bother watching the Phillies?
No.
If you know they're not going to make it to the end?
Nope.
Like, don't tell me what's going to happen at a pay-per-view. It's like, yeah, that sounds interesting, but why do I care about it?
I agree. Totally agree with you. I mean, look, and the other problem I have with them not wanting to tell a story is that they're basically, I don't want to use the word teaching, they're influencing a new generation of wrestling fans that story never mattered.
Yeah.
Story doesn't matter. Just come and watch the matches in the ring. And it's like, okay, cool. So you're ignoring multiple generations of wrestling fans that are still alive, still very much in tune with your product. The ones that are paying for it for the most part, you're just going to give us the middle finger and say, look, you're going to watch no matter what. No, I'm not. I tuned in for the Cena and Styles match, turned it immediately off afterwards, and could care less about anything else that happened. So that was it. And the only reason why I watched that match is, I mean, I love John Cena, but AJ Styles is my second favorite wrestler of all time. And I love AJ. So I'm like, good, this dude's getting his due, even though they did no build for it. But guess what? When you have two goats in the ring, they made fucking magic. And that, to me, that was almost like another FU to the company. Like, if you would have given us, you could have given us 3 or 4 weeks to build this thing on TV. We could have turned this into, one of the greatest things we have ever seen.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it was on multiple ends. People talking about the moves that Cena did to honor his past opponents. If you go online, you're going to find that AJ did the same thing. It was the most beautiful love letter to pro wrestling fans of the last 25 years that I've ever seen. And it's I think, to be honest, and I've watched it 2 more times since it came on, I think it might be probably my 3rd or 4th favorite match of all time.
I mean, it's insane how a match that good had 0 fuck all of a build.
I know. That's because you had 2 pros in that ring.
But you know what though? That's going to be the fucking outlier for them to continue to do that shit. They're like, oh, well,
I know.
Look how good John Cena and AJ Styles were. It's like, yeah, but who else on your roster is on the level of John Cena and AJ Styles?
That's what I'm going to say. I hope they don't look at that and be like,
handful of people.
Exactly. We could do this more often. No, you can't, because there's only one John Cena and there's one AJ Styles.
You're damn right. You're damn right.
And shove that up your ass.
Now, I want to, before we jump into our main topic on the night, and I don't really want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but we're going to anyway, because it's you and me. We talk endlessly on this shit.
Yeah. And we talk a shit ton off the air.
Yeah. So, of course, as well, in case you didn't know, and considering how people aren't watching anything nowadays, nobody really knows. The vision, so to speak, turned on Seth Rollins, and honestly, I don't know who gives a shit, because they did nothing with the group since its inception. So it honestly means nothing.
To George and I, ladies and gentlemen, this breakup happened like 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah, this breakup happened. I don't know, like 2 weeks after WrestleMania.
Yeah,
because they've done nothing. Heyman was basically handcuffed because they weren't letting him talk and letting him do what he does best.
Yeah,
to draw people in. So now we got this fucking they turn on Seth, and who cares where it's going to go, because I honestly don't, because as much as I like Braun Breaker, he's not a draw. They've done nothing to build him up. He just looks like another mid-carder. Some people are trying to like compare it to Batista. It's like, go fuck yourself. No, there's 0 chance. You go look at the first 6 months of Evolution, then you look at this in 6 months, and you try to find that. Or even better yet, pick up watching Evolution after they oust Randy Orton, and it's just the 3 of them. It's just Flair, Triple H, and Batista. There were nuggets thrown in that Batista was going to turn, and everybody was waiting for it. Nobody was waiting for this, because nobody cares about Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed.
Agreed.
They try like hell to get them over with Roman, and Roman can't even get them over because the crowd doesn't care.
I know. You know what
the crowd cares about? The crowd cares about Roman.
You know what it reminds me of, George, in a way, is remember at the Rumble years ago when The Rock came out to save Roman?
Yeah.
And no one gave a shit, and they booed them out of the building.
Yeah, in Philly of all places.
Exactly.
Where you honestly should not have done that. Philly is such a hot wrestling town. Why would you do that there of all places?
Yep, they didn't get what they wanted.
Vince learned his lesson from that.
Yes, he did.
But at the same time, it's like, and now like Rollins is hurt, and people are like, oh, like Rollins is hurt. Like, how's it gonna be when he comes back? Then you find out he got hurt by doing a stupid fucking move the night before. There was no. This is the thing, and this is what all guys like Rollins. Everybody who's cut from that same fucking indie cloth, and I don't mean to say it in a negative way, because there are guys in the indie circuit who would not have done that. But like Rollins has basically turned into a spot monkey over the last year and a half. Ever since he like did his thing, ever since the end of WrestleMania 40. When he helped Cody win that title, Rollins has become nothing but a fucking spot monkey and a cackling shit.
Yep.
So he's going to do essentially the coast to coast that Shane would do, or for older fans, the Van
but he
Terminator.
did it as a headbutt.
That's the thing. He did it as a headbutt.
How stupid can you be?
But in terms of execution, Cody's holding himself up.
Yes.
So that way Rollins can hit the headbutt.
Right.
You're looking at that. You're wondering, why is this guy holding himself up on the top rope?
It's so bad.
At least like when it's done, like when like Sasha would do that move where someone's holding on and then she would jump off, or like Andrade would do that. And if like that's almost like an instantaneous kind of thing. It's not, you're going to do that and then I'm going to go to the other side of the ring, climb up, and then dive across. It's like, okay, so a minute later, you're still holding yourself in position. Like, this isn't how it's done. And then he hurts himself doing that move because he never should have been doing it anyway.
Yeah.
But this is now, this is what I'm going to ask you now in these types of terms.
Okay.
Did Rollins get hurt because he did a stupid move? Or did Rollins get hurt because he is barely in the ring now? He only wrestles on PLEs.
So I
think shows.
I honestly think both can be true. He's doing a move that's probably got a high risk of injury, and secondly, he's doing this move, and his body is not used to as many bumps anymore.
Yeah,
and he has to realize when you're not on the road 200 to 220 days a year, taking those bumps as a guy that's almost pushing 40 years old, dude, that's not a good idea. Like, you got to. They say it all the time. You got to pick your spots. And guys like Rollins, who's getting, they're not old, but, they're not wrestling as much anymore. You don't see, AJ's not as reckless anymore. He knows. So it's almost like, man, like the only problem I had with that AJ match was he did that springboard 450. He missed. And I was like, oh, that could have hurt him bad.
But he didn't miss in like the way that the one chick missed the moonsault.
Oh, no. But that 450 is a move he normally does. I don't know why Seth Rollins feels the need to do a coast-to-coast headbutt.
He's never done that.
Yeah,
at least since he's been in WWE, like they do that in ROH. And if he did do it in ROH, that was 15 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know what he's trying to prove with that move. And he paid for it. It
was a spot. It was a moment. It's a moment that you can look at on social media. It'll get 2 million likes. It'll get 2 million. It'll get 10 million views. And people are like, oh, this is the greatest year, because that's all it is. They book for the moment. It's not the match. It's the moment. It's that little 30-second to minute-long clip that you can see on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or any of them. That's what it's for. It used to be you'd want to watch the whole match. Now you don't have to. Just watch the big spots, and then you can fill in everything from there. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like when you look at like especially guys in Ruthless Aggression, and I get it. I'm sure someone will give me shit later. In terms of it's like, oh well, when they're not on the road, like they're not getting hurt as much. Yeah, I agree. Like having time off.
They're not on the road at all.
Yeah, like having time off is great, but there's nothing. There's nothing. These guys, it's not even like it's not even like they're like not doing dark matches. They're not doing Raw matches. Yeah. They're not doing SmackDown matches. I don't even remember the last time Seth had a match on Raw. He comes out. He does the same bullshit on a microphone. Yeah. Throws a couple punches for, like to get into a scuffle, but there's never like, oh, well, now in the main event, you're going to face Jey Uso or anything like that. These guys aren't having the match all the time. So when you don't have that constant kind of repetition, your body starts to feel it. A good example, I'm going to say a good example, but an example of that is I have shifted positions at work in terms of like now what they want me to do is just kind of stand in one place and monitor the trucks as they come in. But I'm staring at 4 monitors. Which is great, but at the same time, now I don't have that constant flow of motion where I'm grabbing a box, throwing it in a cart, or walking up and down and taking carts and loading them into a truck. Now I'm a little more stationary, whereas I was doing in between 25 and 30,000 steps a day. Now, like after a day doing ship clerk, I'm doing about 5,000 steps. That's a drop off.
Yeah.
And like now, like my knee is sore a little bit because I didn't do any of that this week. I went back to what I usually do. So now like I went from having like 3 weeks of not doing much of anything in terms of movement to like this week where I went back into full like range of motion.
Mm-hmm.
And now my body feels it
Yeah.
because there was a break. Because there was a break in that time. That's what these guys are going through.
For sure. No doubt.
But you won't see that. You only see that with the main eventers. Guys like The Miz, you'll still see in action like maybe every couple weeks or so on SmackDown, if not every week. Carmelo Hayes has a match almost every other week. Andrade, or not Andrade. Aleister Black, Damian Priest, Randy Orton. We see in matches more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and on the other side, like Dominic, we see him on a weekly basis. Finn and JD on a regular basis, like defending tag titles or having tag matches. The women, all of the women.
Yep.
Not fucking Becky, but all of the women.
Yeah, man, you're right.
You know, Becky has a match and loses by countout.
Yep.
By countout in 2025, you're losing a match by countout because you got distracted by, I don't know, the fans? Not even by somebody you're feuding with.
Yeah.
By a fat neckbeard who paid $40,000 to sit ringside.
That was funny.
Like go fuck yourself. But like that's why these guys get hurt. Like, and I understand like you want to protect the main eventers that way, you know, I guess you can book for the pay-per-views. But if you just book like you normally do, if these guys get hurt, you have a backup plan.
Yeah.
In motion. So if they're having that, it's like, oh shit, like Seth is out and he's our world champion and he just won the Crown Jewel title, which doesn't mean anything.
Right.
I think it's funny because they did that just so like Saudi would have a title, but then they defended it, but then they just did it in Perth. So it's like F you, but either way, Saudi's still getting the better end because they're getting everything that we should be getting.
That's right.
But I digress in that scenario. But it's like now, like Rollins is hurt. You don't have another fucking champion lined up.
Yeah, man.
You don't have anybody in the fucking. You have no one in the pipeline, so you're going to end up falling back on. All right, well, I guess we're going to have to put the title on Punk, which is fine.
It's fine. I'm sure he would rather take it another way. I mean,
yeah, it's like, all right, I guess we have to put the title on Punk, or they're going to do some they're going to do something fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And end up putting it on like Braun Breaker or some dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like you got to put it on an established guy. You're going to put the title on a new guy and no one's going to care. No one cares about Braun Breaker right now. All they want to see is this guy spear people. He's got Goldberg energy.
Yep.
Which is a shame.
Goldberg energy.
Which is a shame because he's a Steiner. The dude's got pedigree, but he needs more time and he doesn't, and he's not getting it. Doing tag matches with Bronson Reed isn't going to boost your profile. It's going to drag you down to Bronson Reed's level.
I agree. And you and I, we've talked about it. It's we've talked about it so many times how I just get the feeling that Braun's just still not ready. But look, he's going to probably get, shot to the moon now. So we'll see what happens. But all right, so let's get to the reason why we are here.
The reason for the season.
Yeah. So like we've said before, that there are going to be intermittent times where we break away from doing the Monday Night Wars because that's always going to be there. What might not be there for much longer are all the access to all of the pay-per-views. So what George and I thought of is, okay, I saw a photo going around, I think it would have been Facebook or Instagram about a week or so ago, where it showed the entire yearly slate from 1997 of all the WWF pay-per-views. And like more than half of them are absolute bangers. So George and I were like, you know what? Let's cover 1997 pay-per-views in order, but we're going to do both companies. So we're kind of keeping that whole Monday Night Wars spirit alive via the pay-per-views. So we're going to start with this one tonight, which is the 1997 Royal Rumble. And then we're going to move over next week and we're going to cover the 97 sold out pay-per-view, which is probably top 3 of the biggest pieces of dog shit in the history of wrestling pay-per-views. But still, it was the first of its kind, and we're going to talk about it. And then we're just going to go on and on and on from there. So I don't know what we'll do after that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Hopefully after December, we have a specific place for us, a platform, so we can get all of these pay-per-views. I mean, that information still hasn't come out yet. I'm sure WWE will lie about it, just like they lied about the access to all the Monday Night Raws. So we'll see how that goes. We shouldn't have a problem watching WCW shows because they are basically all on YouTube under a WCW channel. For those of you who haven't subscribed to that channel, it is the best. So definitely go check that out.
They're still up on Peacock for the time.
They are. Yes, they are still up on Peacock. So for sure, if you want to go there,
I'm a big Peacock fan. I like their content. They got.
I think it's great. You and I talk about all the time. Like I have nothing to say negative towards Peacock at all. All right, so we are covering the 1997 Royal Rumble pay-per-view.
What a time to be alive!
Oh my gosh, man, this is like probably my first or second favorite year in professional wrestling. Again, like I said before, I loved 2004.
I'll tell you, I was reading the stats on this, as you usually run them down, and I'm kind of blown away by some of these, especially the attendance numbers. Holy hell.
Yep.
For 1997, for a company that's getting their asses handed them on a silver platter on a regular fucking basis.
Yep. We're going to get into that now. All right, so this is the 10th WWF Royal Rumble event. We are on to 1997, and the World Wrestling Federation was about to turn the corner to be a very successful company once again. It obviously, we all know, it took a lot of time to get there, but, they are well on their way. A lot of credit has to go to Steve Austin here, who was now officially Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's getting a lot of steam as the guy that, everybody in the business was talking about. He's literally coming off a absolute bona fide classic one-on-one match against Bret the Hitman Hart at the Survivor Series from 1996, which also was the debut of a guy that might become a decent member of the wrestling community in Dwayne Johnson, which is Rocky Maivia.
I don't know. Ain't really heard too much from him.
Nah, trash. So,
now Crush, that's the guy you want to get behind.
Damn right. And if you're not behind Ahmed Johnson, don't ever listen to this show. The rest of the roster obviously is getting better too. The company wasn't at their best. We know that, but not just yet.
But they're so close.
They're on that cusp. Yeah, they really are.
This isn't like us, not to cut you off, Chris. This isn't like us waiting patiently for the NWO to show up in WCW. Like this was a gradual, like you got to see these people essentially rise to prominence.
Yeah.
Get those spots that those larger names left when they went to WCW.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. So let's talk about the attendance, which is a massive thing when you look back at this. For those who don't know, WWE in 1997, again, weren't selling shows out, like really pretty much anywhere. They did have a massive sellout later in 97 at Madison Square Garden, which really was an indicator that the business was on an uptick for them. But in January of 97, Vince McMahon was pretty ballsy about running the Alamo Dome in San Antonio in an era trying to sell 70,000 tickets, George, in an era where the business did not demand it. And that's the thing. I mean, a month prior, I'm sorry, like 2 months prior at an In Your House, they were like 5,500 people. And the Survivor Series, obviously in 96 is a different story. That's MSG. That's, 19 to 20,000 people, no matter what. And then a month later, they're having at In Your House, they're doing maybe 6,000 people. So you're coming at a 96 where you're having trouble in some towns having more people that fill a high school gym, and you're going to try to sell 70,000 tickets. Obviously, it's historic on the marketing and the marketing aspect of this show. The announced attendance here was a little over 60,000 people. according to Dave Meltzer, there was only about 816 people in attendance.
Excuse me, it was more like 6.
Yeah, that's right. It was a lot of cardboard cutouts.
All cardboard cutouts. It was just LED screens that had people on it. It was basically the Thunderdome.
Right. No doubt. Like I said, just almost about 60,500 people. There was a little over 48,000 paid. So there were a lot of tickets given away, but still in 1997, in January, 48,000 people paid for this is unreal.
Yeah.
At that time, it was reported that in the final few days, they did sell 20,000 tickets. They were mainly at that $5 and $7 price point with discount coupons from places like Taco Bell and 7-Eleven. It makes sense because if you guys want to go back into a podcast called Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, he talked about how the WWE really tried to get as many people in that building as they could to make it feel like a big time show.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an impressive crowd. I mean, look, did they get 70 that they wanted? No, but they damn sure they got over 60, which is such a feat, George. I mean, people don't understand what a feat this was in January of 97. This isn't mid 1998 where they would have filled 70,000 people in 90 minutes or 99. But dude, this was January of 97 where Nitro's still whooping their ass in the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah, absolutely. And what does help this event is the fact that they do have that collaboration with AAA.
Yeah.
And it's in San Antonio. It's in Texas.
Yeah.
So AAA already has an established base in Texas anyway. So
Right.
you got that fan base coming in. And Texas, I mean, Texas is big. It's a really big wrestling state.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're getting the luchadors over, like San Antonio and along like the border from Mexico, or you're getting on the other side of the state, people who would go to the Sportatorium in Dallas and see the Von Erichs and the Freebirds on a regular basis. Plus, you're in Guerrero country.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
big time.
And we all know, like, the Guerreros seem to have some goodwill with the WWF. So shit, it didn't probably take too much to get those 60,000 people in, but they don't top this number until this year.
Right. Yep.
In 2025. So
it's so crazy.
28 years later, it took them to top that attendance at a Royal Rumble.
Man, just insane.
And here's the weird thing. They've been doing stadiums for the last few years for the Rumble.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Big time. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, this is just crazy to think that they were able to even get 60,000. I mean, even if they would have only announced 48,000, it's still a gigantic feat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's incredible. All right, so the show was used to set up WrestleMania 13, obviously, although there were a few bumps and maybe some lost smiles along the way, including what happened at the Final Four pay-per-view in February, which we will get to, so we're not going to really necessarily talk about that right now. But so that's that's probably the third pay-per-view we'll be covering starting here in 97. So let's go into the Rumble here, January 19th, 1997, from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. The opening video package focused on Shawn Michaels coming home to San Antonio to get a rematch for the WWF title against Psycho Sid because, well, Shawn doesn't drop the title to anybody, but Sid somehow is the world champion.
Shawn's got the biggest ego in the world. He's a piece of shit. He never put anybody over. All he ever did was look out for himself. It's like, go fuck yourself. All right.
Yeah.
Like, enough.
I agree. They had such an impressive pyro display to start the show. The announcers here are Vince McMahon, Jim Ross, and Jerry the King Lawler. This would be the last Rumble where Vince was announcing the show because this was the last year where Vince was a regular announcer. Just to let everybody know, in October at In Your House, Bad Blood, that actually was the final pay-per-view that Vince McMahon called. So we'll get down there and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
We are right there.
I know, we're there, dude.
Right there.
I know.
This is the year, Vince steps away from the commentary table, catches a stunner in the ring.
Yep.
And the world, and it was like the shot heard around the world.
Yep. Goldust makes his entrance with the lovely Marlena by his side.
Her name is Terry, you scum.
So sorry, but she was Marlena here. He's going up against, that's right, the man they call Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who is with Mr. Hughes. If you just some notes about this match, Hunter was the heel champion while Goldust did turn babyface a few months prior to this. Mr. Hughes was only with Triple H for like a week. It was about 1 month after this when Chyna debuted as Triple H's bodyguard of sorts. Hughes did return to WWE for a brief run in 1999. Hunter won this title, the IC title, back in October of 96. So we're about 3 months into his reign here. We get to the end. This match got a lot of time, George, just about 17 minutes. We get to the end. Hunter took advantage of a distracted Goldust here with a clothesline leading to Goldust doing a pretty badass flip bump. And then Hunter hits the pedigree when when he laid that pedigree in. Gets the win, just about 17 minutes. I read online that people were kind of disappointed with this match. I thought it was boring at times in front of a crowd that was, pretty much kind of dead for the most of it, which I understand. I do think the opening match needs to be a little bit more exciting than it was. I did enjoy watching Goldust and Triple H work here. They spent a lot of time on the floor, which tells me that I think these guys got a little bit too much time. I think this match should have been maybe 4 or 5 minutes shorter, and it could have been a much hotter match. It was okay. I didn't think it was awful. What says you?
It was a solid mid-card match.
That's what I thought.
I don't care if they got too much time because it's Triple H and it's Goldust.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It didn't bother me. I was engaged the whole time. I wasn't bored at all watching the match.
Yeah. I agree. I will say though this. I think it was tough for Goldust, man, to be an effective face character. I just don't think that's why he could really succeed as much in those mid-90s as a babyface. You could tell Hunter wasn't that incredible, really well-polished worker that he would become in about 3 years. I do think this wasn't the best, choice as an opener. But I didn't dislike the match at all. I honestly probably, if you want to get this crowd really starting off hot, George, would you have maybe the curtain jerker? Would you have had Undertaker and Vader here?
No.
No? Okay.
No. Because you have, Triple H and Goldust who are going to be workhorses. Yeah. They're going to get the crowd hyped. The crowd will get hyped for Undertaker, but Undertaker's not an appetizer.
I see.
Undertaker is, he's a main course. You build to the Undertaker. Agreed. Undertaker doesn't build for other people. What they should have done now, the thing with Goldust, and I kind of realize this, is they drifted away from his movie persona that he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
There was no reason why they couldn't continue to have him, make movie references, quote movies on a regular basis in parts of in his promos. They were just all right, hey, let's just be fucking weird. Because how do you even peg the Goldust's gimmick? It's he's just a guy dressed in gold and he acts weird.
Yeah,
there's nothing else there. But when he debuted, he's sitting there and he's quoting movies and he's the director's chair and all that, and Marlena would come out in the director's chair every now and then, but she stopped doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's keep playing it. They tried to go. I remember they tried to go back to it.
Yeah,
in recent years, and it's and I was excited. I'm yeah, awesome. This is what I want. I want
Yep.
him to, be quoting movies on a regular basis. That's
Yeah.
the whole base of the character. He's supposed to be an Oscar statue come to life.
Yep, I know. I wish that character would come back today. I really do.
Mhm.
I really would love to see Dustin bring that character back for like a year and just do exactly what he did in those late 90s.
Or do it in AEW.
I don't want that. Well, he can't. He can't be Goldust there.
No, but he can essentially do something along those lines.
He probably, yeah,
he could do a music version of Goldust called Platinum.
That's right. He could. That's right.
And he can quote songs on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's a good point. Next match, I don't even want to friggin' talk about it, but whatever. Farouk with a bunch of dudes versus Ahmed Johnson. Just to remind everyone, we're like in 96 in our coverage of the Monday Night Wars, and Ahmed is just running through the roster. And you're thinking he's 100% going to be the next best thing. Yeah, this was awful. They gave these dudes 9 minutes. Ahmed got the win by disqualification. This was bad. I mean, just a pure stinker to me. And it's not a surprise since Ahmed just didn't have good matches. And Farouk or Ron Simmons needed the absolute right opponent to have a really good match. They had zero chemistry. It also didn't help that, again, the crowd's just dead here. This match, I mean, God, could have been a cure for insomnia if I wasn't covering it.
This incarnation of the Nation of Domination didn't make any sense to me.
It did not. It didn't.
It was just a bunch of people. Like, you only had 2 wrestlers.
Yeah.
Essentially, in Farouk and Crush, because Sabio Vega wasn't part of the group yet.
No, not yet.
Which made even less sense when he joined it. PG-13, I give less than a shit about.
Yep.
And then you just had Clarence Mason and then like D'Lo Brown in a suit and a couple of other guys in suits. It's like, I get what they were kind of trying to, what they were going for in terms of they're trying to be like a black militant group. But how does that work when you have Crush in that group who is the opposite of that?
Right.
He's white and he's from Hawaii.
That's right. All right. So afterwards, we get Terry Funk, a little quick vignette of Terry Funk. I completely forgot about him being in this Rumble. Completely forgot. But Terry Funk is here. Then we get to Vader and The Undertaker. Vince, at this point, as always, would like to remind us that Vader can mix it up with the best of them when it comes to fisticuffs, because this is a real sport. Whatever. I mean, there was part of this match, man, where Taker was just no selling. And we my favorite part of this match is you audibly hear Vince McMahon say Vader has sizable girth, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm not sure I would like to watch this pay-per-view and know those details there, Vince.
I feel like that's just him getting around saying Vader's fat.
That's what he's doing. That's right.
He's got sizable girth. It's like, you could have picked any other phrase.
I agree.
You could have said he's a large man for the Undertaker. But
yeah,
what a wordsmith.
Very much so. However, Undertaker does a clean job here at 13 minutes and 20 seconds after a Vader bomb off the ropes. Again, I just didn't think, other than Kane, Taker was just not good against big dudes. He just didn't have that much chemistry with them. Mainly because Undertaker built a career up until this point in 97 where he's not supposed to sell that much. No. But then you put him up against a monster like a Vader who also isn't supposed to sell that much. It's oil and water, George. Like it's honestly, it would never be good. It's like, the immovable force versus the immovable object. It just doesn't work that well.
Now, I mean, now it's the immovable object versus the immovable object. Cause you got 2 guys.
Yeah, you're right. That's right.
You got 2 guys who are supposed to always look strong.
Yeah.
So Where do you go from there?
Agreed. I mean, but it's wild because the Undertaker rarely lost clean, especially in this era. So I guess that's why they had the ending the way it was. I mean, this was probably obviously one of the biggest wins in Vader's career in the WWF. Even though it wasn't a good match, I mean, they had actually, to be fair, and we'll get here 6 months from now, they actually had a significantly better match at the Canadian Stampede about 6 months later. So I will say that. I just felt like this match just did not click. I think they were just off. And we're just a few months after where Vader was probably in line to become a champion. And then he has a disastrous match, and I guess he has just awful chemistry with Shawn Michaels. And this was probably just Vader in early 97 just kind of giving up. And historically, if we listen to guys like Bruce Pritchard and stuff like that talk about this era's Vader, it was just a shell of the dude that came from WCW. Yeah. So it was tough, and you feel bad for Taker anyway, but you also feel bad for Vader. Vader's known to be a sweetheart of a dude, but just it wasn't his time here.
I think are you saying it wasn't Vader time?
No, yeah, I just figured it wasn't Vader time in this era.
I don't think it's his. I don't think it's entirely Leon White's fault.
I agree.
I just don't think he meshed well with the WWE style.
I agree. Totally agree with you.
I just don't think he really fit in with it because he was in WCW. Obviously, it's a different sort of wrestling style than it is in WWF. WWF is more scripted, more analytical, down to the move. Vader's used to just being a big guy coming in, laying things and, maybe getting the surprise attack, but
yeah,
it's not this. It didn't, he just wasn't a good fit in WWF.
I agree. 1,000% agree.
I'm actually surprised he didn't go back to WCW after he left WWF.
I'm gonna research why maybe that didn't happen.
Maybe he saw what they were doing and he's like,
probably.
you know what, I'm good.
Yeah, why am I gonna go and probably job out to the entire NWO?
Yeah.
My assumption is that's what that would be. All right. So after the match, Vader quickly got out of there with his arm around Paul Bearer to show that they were working together. That didn't last long. Look, again, this was just another post-match babyface attack to make fans happy. Just like Ahmed Johnson in the match before this, it just felt repetitive, and that was because Undertaker post-match choke slams, a very gentle choke slam to Jack Doan. He throws a chair at the ring post. He gets in Vince McMahon's face, says something to him. Probably another one of those you owe me's for saying yes to all this.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to get so much time off after this.
Well, I will say there could have been an agreement here because, as we know, Undertaker did main event WrestleMania 13, and he won the WWF title.
Yeah.
So, we get Royal Rumble promos from Stone Cold, who just didn't want to talk. British Bulldog said he was going to win the Royal Rumble because he's bizarre. I guess he was on some kind of high.
I fucking guess.
Yeah. The next match, George, you want to talk about the next one?
Are you talking about the 6-man tag with the Luchadors?
That's correct.
Because I'll talk about it.
Go for it.
Listen, nobody loves a good luchador match, a good luchador match more than I do.
Oh, interesting.
This was their attempt at trying to. This was WWF's attempt at trying to do that.
Yeah,
because they saw what WCW is doing, and they're like, "Well, let's see what we can get involved with it as well." And listen, it wasn't bad for what it was, but the WWF audience doesn't want that.
Yeah.
So the crowd, unfortunately, didn't give a shit. However, hey, a little bit of royalty. We got Hector Garza in this match. Hector Garza's nephews, Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo, who are currently right now on the roster.
Which is crazy to think. That's just wild. I
like how Santos Escobar got released and then re-signed the next day.
Yeah. We're going to release it and immediately sign you for half of what you're getting paid.
It was probably I think what it was, if I'm going to take a guess at it, is probably like were trying to come to terms on a contract and then got close, but unfortunately hit the day. So they're like, unfortunately, we just got to let you go, but we're just going to bring you back at this new contract. That's probably what it was.
I looked at this match as kind of a nothing match, and this is like kind of proof for the WWE was dealing with a very thin roster. So they had to put something on to kill, 10 to 15 minutes.
It was there
to appease the locals.
It was there, because they got the deal with AAA. It was there for the AAA fans in attendance. So, it solved the issue it was supposed to have, or it solved what they were going to do. But there was a canceled match for this pay-per-view. So that was probably kind of punched in there on the end, because they were supposed to have a tag match on Free For All. So they're probably like, oh shit, now we got this time gap. Let's throw something else in there real quick. And the luchadors, I will say, God bless them. They'll go out and they'll give you a show for 10 minutes, on the fly. So, that was what they did in AAA. That's what they do. So,
all right. We're at the 30-man Royal Rumble match. The interval for entrance was 90 seconds. I love the 90 seconds more than the typical 120 seconds. And, I actually enjoyed it when it was every 60 seconds, but 90 is a good happy medium. There's a much better flow, I think, to the match when it is 90 seconds.
90 seconds that's a fair time.
I think so, yeah. Austin comes in. When did Austin come in? He came in at number 5, right? Austin comes in at 5. Just to do a couple notes here. Mil Mascaras comes in at number 11. This was like one of the loudest ovations from the San Antonio crowd was when No Yob comes out. And the funny thing is when he doesn't want to do a job and he knows what doing a job is in the Rumble. So his agreement to the WWF was, well, then I'll eliminate myself so I don't get eliminated by somebody else. Just hilarious.
And then he got back in the ring and there was almost like, no, you gotta get out. And he was just like, shit.
Oh, that's right. So it really picks up when we get to entrant number 21, which is obviously at this point we know Austin's biggest rival, which is Bret the Hitman Hart. Vince is like basically having a climax, just yelling yes, yes, yes 100 times. Austin with that historic, basically GIF expression on his face, showing some fear, putting his hands over his head. Yep. Just a little bit before that, it's a famous GIF again that I use all the time when he's on the second run the top rope and he's checking his watch. Just great stuff. This was just an awesome moment showing these facial expressions by Austin. Shit you don't see anymore. When Bret gets to the ring, they just go at it. Bret hits an atomic drop and a clothesline. We get to the 22nd entrant, which is Jerry Lawler.
This is the best moment of the whole Rumble.
It really
match.
was. He's sitting at the announce table. He took off his jacket, jumped in the ring. Bret punched him once. Lawler doesn't go over. So Bret hits him again. Lawler's out. The announcers say that he broke a record.
I think he broke the Bushwhacker record.
Yeah, because it was 4 seconds. So Warlord at the time still had the record at 2 seconds.
It was quick. It's like Lawler goes and sits back down at the announce desk. And he's like, "Oh, Bret Hart's lucky I'm not in there." And JR's like, "Hey King, you were in there." And he's like, "What are you talking about?"
That's right. So funny.
It's almost as good as the previous year of Lawler hiding under the ring until Shawn pulled him out.
Oh my God. Terry Funk comes in at 94. Rocky
24. 94.
Yeah, that's right.
You must have confused it with his age at the time.
I know. At 25, here comes The Rock, or Rocky Maivia, the rookie. This man can win this thing. You think they believed in his potential, huh?
No,
this was The Rock.
He's got a few years, and even that's not going to be decisive.
I know. It's funny because The Rock's like very early babyface run. Obviously, that would get the fans to really hate on him and turn him heel. Bret tried to throw Funk out, but he held on. Rock tries to get Austin out, can't do it. Those are some of the 4 best wrestlers ever right there. And of course, there's, fake Diesel or Kane, whatever you want to say. So that's 5 legit Hall of Famers here in the ring early in 97. And, it's just crazy. It's pretty funny to think about.
And these guys haven't even exploded yet.
I know. 26, here comes Mankind, another future Hall of Famer. So much talent in the ring when you think about it here. Just crazy. Let's get to the end. We all know, who the last man was. It was supposed to be a big man, a big name at number 30. It's The Undertaker. The lights go out, and he entered the fray rather slowly. He's a babyface here. I honestly think that 1997 might have been one of, if not one of the best years of Undertaker's career, especially in the 90s. He was healthy the entire year.
Mhm.
He had a lot of good matches and didn't really have the ridiculous feuds that hurt him over the years at that time.
Yeah.
The Undertaker went after Vader, Mankind, and Austin, hitting Stone Cold with a choke slam. Taker hit Vader with some kind of a choke slam.
A choke and then he fell.
That's right. As we get down to the 5 men left in the match, Brett threw Austin out to a massive pop, but the refs did not see it because they're all on one side of the ring, breaking up the Funk Mankind fight. Man, what a great setup by Vince and creative.
This is one of those things where like creative just like nailed this, and it was great because like, whereas we're looking at it as like, oh, like Mankind and Terry Funk, like historians or like wrestling people know, it's like, oh, these guys were killing each other in Japan. Like, they're best friends. Like,
yeah.
Michelle Taker. Her name is actually Under McCoy.
I love how he said Michelle Taker.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doof laughing at that for the rest of the night. I'm holding it in.
Michelle McCalloway.
6 feet under with Michelle Taker. That's funny.
But that's like when you got like Funk and Mankind on the other side, it's like these guys, have a storied history that people in WWF probably don't even know. So the fact that they're going at it and then all the refs swarming, they don't even see Austin go over, and Austin having all of the ring awareness slides back in like the snake that Jake wishes he was.
Yeah, no doubt. Austin gets back in the ring and he dumps Vader and Undertaker as they battle by the ropes. Brett eliminates Fake Diesel. Austin went over to Brett and dumps him out of the ring for the win. The referee raises Austin's hand as the winner of the match. So Stone Cold Steve Austin wins his first of 3 Royal Rumble matches. This match ends at just under 51 minutes. Post-match, we get Austin raising his hand as the winner of the match. Bret Hart was furious about what happened.
This is the start of the Bret Hart heel turn.
It is. Yeah, it is. Bret goes to the refs about how he eliminated Austin first. Bret starts yelling at Vince. Yeah, and this would be around the time when they would make mention of Vince being the owner of the company. It was part of the WWF slowly integrating that edgier product. Bret yells at Vince about how he should do something about it. And then Vince says, talk about unsportsmanlike conduct.
It's okay. You keep up that kind of attitude, you're going to have a pretty bad November.
Yeah. So just to let everybody know that this match initially was supposed to end with Bret winning the Royal Rumble. It's been proven by guys like Bruce Pritchard that the original plan was for Bret to win the Rumble. The plan changed when when Vic Venom was live on WWE Livewire, and he picked Bret to win the Royal Rumble, and apparently that pissed off Vince McMahon to change the finish to almost a screw job win for Austin. Not the first time in 1997 that Bret screwed over.
You know what though? Hindsight, that was brilliant.
Yes.
Because Vince Russo is the dumbest human being on earth. So he just says what the fuck ever. And Vince on the fly has been, okay, we're going to change the winner of the Rumble, not knowing that Shawn was going to lose his smile and vacate the title.
Right. My issue here is it kind of shows you how paranoid Vince was at this time, because I still find that reasoning to be strange because, like, so what if Vince Russo picked Bret? Like, Brett's a top star. So why wouldn't somebody on a show, in a prediction show, pick Brett to win? It didn't mean that the audience knew what the hell was going on. I just felt that it was paranoia a little bit for Vince, but I do know what you mean. Hindsight being what it is, it worked out. But at that time,
how would that have worked if like Brett wins the Rumble and then he has to face Shawn at WrestleMania? Shawn still loses his smile and does all that shit. What does that leave for Austin? Where was he going to go?
I agree. I mean, so in the end, it worked out. In the end, the paranoia of Vince actually ended up being the best move.
Yeah.
A couple like random notes I had here about the Rumble match. I liked the finish. It was different. It made me want to see what's going to happen next. It also put over how great Austin's character was. Because to me, the Rumble used to be, I don't think it is really now. It always, at that time, was about making stars. This helped propel Austin, I think, to that next level that we'd see him for his entire main event run. And it started right here.
Everybody.
No doubt.
Or at least most of your main eventers in this match, at the very least. Because we know what kind of 97 Mankind's going to have. Halfway through the year, he's going to turn into Dude Love.
Yeah. Yep.
And then he's going to revert to Cactus Jack at the end of the year. All good shit.
Steve Austin was fantastic. This was like the part 2 of his breakout performance, with the first one being Survivor Series a month prior. The spots where he was alone in the ring, again, memorable. We still see them as famous GIFs and memes right now. And Brett was just so tippy top here. It's just one of those major moments you just will never forget as a wrestling fan. Austin's work in the ring was amazing. And if you look at some people in this match, it's easy to see that things were getting better in the company compared to the lack of talent in the 96, 95, 94, 93 Rumble matches. A lot of the wrestlers were yet to be elite at this point, dude. Because if you look at, there's legitimately massive names in this match. The talent on the roster was very good from this point to the early 2000s. And then obviously by 2002 and on, the gigantic roster boom that we got post Nitro era was just unbelievable. Before we get to obviously the main event, I think up until this point, George, I thought this crowd was pretty shitty the entire night. I really do.
They wanted one thing and one thing only.
Shawn Michaels.
They wanted the hometown boy to come out in his fucking cowboy hat.
That's it. Person that lasted the longest, Stone Cold, just over 45 minutes. He had 10 eliminations. Just crazy. So yeah, that was just awesome. I thought it was a really good Rumble match itself. I probably would give it about 4.5 stars. Because Austin was unreal, just unreal.
What a huge jump in quality from 96 to 97.
Oh my God. It was 6 to midnight, dude. Yeah. Just awesome. The star power, again, if you look at it from a foreshadowing aspect, that also made me enjoy this more, is what's to come out of this just Royal Rumble match. Just awesome stuff. The announcers talked about what happened with Vince, pointing out that a lot of fans were booing about the finish of the Royal Rumble match. Lawler kept saying that the referee's decision was final. We get to a video package airing to set up the WWF Championship match with Psycho Sid defending the title against the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. Sid won the WWF title from Michaels at Survivor Series in 96 a couple months ago, in, I would say, Sid Vicious's best match of his career. So this is a rematch. The hometown boy.
That was also the infamous match that gave us the
Shawn Michaels is a tree.
Shawn Michaels is a tree.
Yeah. So funny. In an interview that aired earlier in the day, it's famously known now that Shawn Michaels had the flu. To the point where he probably should have been in a hospital. Multiple people have said he had like 103, 104 fever the entire day.
This is what he shows up for, but when they tell him that you might have to defend the title against Bret Hart,
Yeah, I'm out.
all of a sudden, I got this knee injury and my smile isn't in my bag where I usually put it.
Yep, that's right. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't wrestle Brett. The doctor said my kneecap's gonna fall out. My bad.
Guys,
there was
it's rare, but they said I have knee rot.
Oh, that's funny. So Shawn Michaels comes out here to the biggest pop of the night. I mean, by far. He's still the top babyface in the company at this point. Michaels had an amazing 1996. He held the title for about 8 months. Michaels goes ringside, kisses his mom, hugs his dad. That was a great pyro display for HBK too when he gets in the ring. Just awesome. This was
it's nothing compared to Sid's pyro.
Oh, that's damn right. Nope.
Sean's pyro doesn't say his name, does it?
Nope.
No, it doesn't.
Not.
No, it doesn't, Chris.
I'm surprised Sean didn't quit after realizing that Sid was
getting
next to pyro.
Listen, Vin, man, you can't put a heart up there with sparklers. I ain't showing up.
Sid comes out, Psycho Sid, with his entrance with the WWF title around his waist. He also apparently poured an entire gallon of water all over him, so he just looks so freaking soaked.
Why not?
Right. So we get to this match, man, and it was clear that they were just, Sean just could not do a normal Sean match here. That's why this match got about 13 minutes and 50 seconds. Sean gets the title in the, winner by pinfall after a super kick. The new WWF champion, man. Michaels set up for the Sweet Chin Music super kick. He connected it, covered Sid, clean 1, 2, 3, massive pop from the crowd. You know for a fact that they just wanted to get that title on him as fast as possible, get those visuals, get that crowd, get him celebrating with people in the crowd. Just one of those really feel-good moments for the company here. The match just wasn't great. To me, I think it's one of the most disappointing Shawn Michaels matches ever, and that's saying something.
Yeah, like he just couldn't go, and
just couldn't.
There's only so much that Sid can do. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Especially with somebody that's Shawn's size. Compared, Sean's what, 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah.
Sid's about 6'8", 6'9",
yep.
Maybe 6'10" on a good day.
Yeah.
There's only so much he's going to be able to do to like get Sean through that match without it looking like I'm going to pick this guy up and then just fall over and then he's going to fall on me, without looking really hokey.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Again, this was well done in terms of showing how big of a title win it was for Michaels. And that's really it. I mean, they show him celebrating with Jose Lothario. He's seeing friends and high-fiving friends alongside on the barricade. Lawler said that made him sick seeing him with his parents. Such good stuff.
Yeah, imagine if he was celebrating with the Hearts. Oh my God, Lawler would have.
Right.
Lawler would have walked over and punched Helen right in the mouth.
Yep, no doubt.
I hate your son.
Michaels even hugs Vince McMahon at ringside, leading to a Vince laugh. The most charismatic. Final thoughts. I thought this was. I still think it was a below average show overall. I always have that sentimental value when it comes to this event because of how much I remember how great Steve Austin was. And I still, even though it wasn't a good main event, I love seeing Sean win at the Alamo Dome here. It's a big deal. Yeah. It was that breakout performance. And I guess I also hold this show a little bit closer to my heart because I know what it created and what came from it. I didn't like the crowd. I thought the crowd was dead for 75% of the night. They popped for Austin and Brett, and they popped for Shawn Michaels. And probably Shawn Michaels' worst main event match because the dude was basically, 2 feet in, half a foot into the grave with the flu that he had. The event looked so impressive visually And I think that goes unnoticed is what a great production the WWF put on in this Royal Rumble.
Like it no longer looked like it was filmed in a back room.
Right.
The production quality shot up. The presentation overall, the big, everyone, we're at a point where the entrance themes are starting to get better for everybody.
Yeah.
There's a newer crop of, or I should say, maybe an updated crop of a roster. Gone are the Duke Drosies and the Doinks. Now we're getting into something, that you can sink your teeth into.
Yeah. Yep. Overall, George, what's your overall number on this show between 1 and 10?
Between 1 and 10, I mean, the thing is, the Rumble match saves this show, but it's not enough for me to put it over a 5.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. I was right at that 4.5, between 4 and 5. That's where I was. And
I mean, like I like Triple H and Goldust. I like the Rumble match. That, I can't go higher than a 5 because everything else around it just kind of felt like it was there,
Yep.
Couldn't be anything.
Yep. Yeah, but again, we're gonna get to some much better shows. But again, if you want to watch the '97 Royal Rumble, I honestly even would skip the main event. Just watch the Rumble. Just watch the Rumble match, and that's all you need, and it's awesome. It's good stuff.
And this was at a time where the Rumble was not the main event.
Right. Yep, you're right. All right, so George, thank you very much. We got Sold Out 1997 presented by the NWO next week. George and I love covering the really bad ones because they are so fun to look back at.
Like the 97 Sold Out is like you got to get a plunger to flush it to get it go down. Like it's that kind of shitty. But I love the stage setup for the 97 Rumble where it's basically just like steps. Like it looked like almost like a Hollywood marquee.
Yes.
And you got Eric Bischoff and Ted DiBiase on commentary.
Right. It's so good. But all right. So for George Rogers, I'm Chris Francesco. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much. Head over to SeatGeek right now. Use our code Ring the Bell for $20 off your very first ticket purchase. Same thing. Go over to manscaped.com right now. If you're a dude and you have some hairy balls to shave, use our code HOTTAG20. That gets you 20% off plus free shipping worldwide. So enjoy that. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back here next week with WCW/NWO presents Sold Out from 1997. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Take care, and we'll catch you all down the road. Have a good one. Bye-bye.